The Little Free Food Pantry started out interesting. Jim Johnson was the chair of the mission committee, and we talked about doing something after they did the Little Free libraries. And I think it was Jim who said, we could do something with food. And so we talked and talked about it and came up with the idea of putting some sort of a box down close to where the clinic is at the fellowship hall. And letting people put food in, letting people take food out. We decided that, okay, it would be very difficult to let people put food in, take food out, and how are we going to control that, how are we going to keep up with it, how are we going to keep things fresh, and all of that sort of thing. And then decided, well, we have a mission, and one of our big missions is the mental health clinic. So let's focus on expanding our mission to the mental health clinic. And so we decided that even though CRRC is down around the corner, they don't and can't give people enough food to basically last them for 2 weeks or a month or whatever. And people told us that they couldn't get enough there. So we decided to supplement. And the clients from the clinic do go to CRRC. In fact, the transportation from the clinic will even take them there. So they do get food there as well as from us, but they don't get enough. Long story short, it evolved. And then Oliver volunteered to build the little pantry box that we have down there now, which is really cute. And we go down and it gets restocked every week, and every week it needs restocked. So we have that, and then every other week we have volunteers from church who meet Richard and I out here, and we get bags of food ready for 6 families typically. And the families will receive a bag of perishable food and a bag of non-perishable food. So there's, at the same time, we've got it down there for people to help themselves. And then there are people identified who really need extra help, and we deliver to them. The exec at the mental health clinic they have a staff meeting, and he will bring up to his staff that we, right now, in fact, we need one more family identified. And the staff will then talk about who's in most need. And then he lets me know, okay, here's a family that really needs help, and the number in the family and where they live, etc. Every other week, we deliver usually 6 to 6 families who have been named by the clinic staff as those who are in desperate need for food help. So it really varies. Sometimes it's 1, 2 people, or sometimes it's 6 kids. So it varies depending on the families who have been identified. We have our pantry off the narthex here, which is non-perishable food. And church members donate non-perishable food to that. So there's a big bucket out by the front door that people drop off non-perishables. And then we also have regular donors who make monetary gifts that are designated for the pantry. Then every week, Richard and I go down to Lowe's and we shop for perishables rather. So we get things like potatoes, all the mixings for salads, and fruits and vegetables, and we'll get eggs and chicken and cheese and just a variety of perishable food. So then each family also gets a bag of perishables. So each time we deliver, they're getting 2 bags of food, which is actually quite a bit and pretty nice ingredients. I think it is just basic that if people can't eat, they're stressed out, they're unhealthy, and if they're unhealthy, then if they're physically unhealthy, they're going to be mentally unhealthy a lot of times. So as I said before, if someone can't feed their family, they're going to be extremely stressed out, and they can't deal with other problems or concerns that they have because they're so worried and always preoccupied worrying about food for the table. So it's really just that basic need to keep families kind of stabilized. So it's really just, it's mind, body, spirit, and everybody needs to eat. We've had so many families who have been so grateful, families who say, we couldn't make it without you. Had one guy who was a veteran, amputee, and he lived in a trailer, and he told us that even though he did go to CRRC and get food there, but he said it doesn't come close to being enough for me. And he said, I couldn't survive without your help. And there are other people like that whose children might get one meal a day or, really unhealthy meals. And it's just, it's across the board, people who need food, and in all different kinds of situations where mothers who can't work because they are either invalided or they have to stay home and take care of 6 kids, grandparents raising grandchildren. I had a great-grandmother tell me at one of the parties we did for the clinic that she said, I'm raising 2 teenage grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and we can barely make it. And she had an invalid husband at home also. So it's, we're reaching out to people in different situations, and you never know how it's going to impact. We get stories like that and experiences that show us that people are in need and people are very appreciative.